We're on the record. Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. And welcome to the first regular scheduled meeting of the ABC Board for the 2026 school year. I'm sorry, school year, calendar morning. As chairperson of the Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis Board for the District of Columbia, in accordance with DC Code Section 2-571 HC of the Open Meetings Act, OMA, I am welcoming you to the regular scheduled meeting of the Alcoholic Beverage and Cannabis Board. This meeting is being conducted pursuant to guidance made available by the District of Columbia's Office of Open Government regarding electronic meetings held by public bodies. Electronic meetings by the ABC Board are authorized pursuant to Section 2-577A of the DC Code. Pursuant to the OMA requirements, notice of today's meeting was provided 48 hours in advance of the meeting on ABCA's website and on the district central meeting calendar. The notice includes the time, date, agenda, and a call-in or login information for public participation. This electronic meeting has been hosted by a WebEx account provided by the District of Columbia government. Please address any questions or complaints to the OOG at opengovoffice@dc.gov. My name is Donovan Anderson. I'm chairperson of the board. I would like to introduce the other members of the ABC board who are also participating electronically. Please respond when I announce your names. Mr. Silas Grant.
Mr. Silas Grant, present.
Ms. Terry Janine Quinn.
Ms. Terry Janine Quinn, present.
Mr. David Meadows.
Happy New Year, everyone. David Meadows, present.
Mr. Ryan Jones.
Happy New Year, Ryan Jones, present.
The board has 5 members in attendance for the conduct of business today, and that constitutes a quorum. Before we get underway with today's hearing calendar, I need to make a few instructions very clear so that the conduct of these hearings is understood by everyone. There are 11 cases on our calendar today. Once your case is called, I will take a moment for IT specialists to elevate the rights for each party to enable their camera and microphone. Then and only then will you have the ability to enable your equipment. If your case has not been heard, you will remain mute and your camera will be disabled. At the conclusion of each case, the parties will have the option to leave. If the party chooses to stay, all cameras and microphones for the concluded case will be disabled. Should you have any questions or require technical assistance during the hearing, please submit them using the question and answer feature. Our first case today is a protest hearing status. Case number 25 PRO 00125. Philomena, license number 134142. This case has been canceled. A settlement agreement has been provided to the board for its review and consideration. The next case on our calendar is another protest hearing status, Signature Lounge, license number 117485. Good morning, Ms. Doriana. Can you please elevate the rights of the parties in this case?
Good morning. Alex Marshall, access elevated. Cameron Mixon, access elevated. And I believe that is all, Chair.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Alex Marshall for ANC 2B.
Good morning, sir. Do you have a camera you can turn on, sir?
Yes. Hello.
Hold on 1 minute, please, sir. Good morning. We go with the licensee first. So good morning, Mr. Mixon. Can you please spell and state your name for the record?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Cameron Mixon, CameronMixon, counsel for the applicant.
Good morning, sir. Mr. Marshall.
Alex Marshall, AlexMarshall, a member of ANC 2B. I'm here in place of our representative, Andrew DeFrank.
Good morning, Mr. Marshall. Good morning. All right. Are there any preliminary, Mr. Mixon, are there any preliminary matters in this case that you need to bring to the attention of the board?
None for the applicant.
Mr. Marshall?
Not to my knowledge.
All right. This matter is then scheduled for a protest hearing on February 11th at 1:30 p.m. Are the parties familiar with the protest hearing, or do I need to review the regulations regarding protest hearings?
We're familiar, yes.
All right, fine. I just want to remind the parties that 7 days before the hearing, you're required to provide the PIP. failure by either party to provide the PIP, the board is empowered to prevent that side from relying on documents and witnesses that have not been provided. Okay, so the board supports settlement if this matter can be settled. The board supports it because if the matter can be settled, at least we know that both parties have come to a mutual understanding and agreement. If this matter, however, cannot be settled, we will see you on February the 11th at 1:30 p.m. All right. Thank you for being here this morning. Have a great day.
And do you have anything in writing you can share on that regarding the PIP?
All right, let me. Hold on. You know what? I'm gonna read. I'm gonna go through the instructions. Hold on. All right. Now that we have scheduled this matter for a protest hearing, please pay attention to the following instructions. A protest hearing is an administrative trial proceeding that is decided based on testimony and evidence. The board will decide the case based on evidence and reasoning related to the issues at hand. In proceeding to a protest hearing, you should be very clear about what you want and the basis for your request, whether it is the approval or denial of the license or the imposition of conditions on the license. The board does not intend to hear testimony in matters that are irrelevant, immaterial, or redundant to the protest issues. The board will also not decide the case based on the popularity of the parties on reasonable speculation or mere opinion. This means if you are not prepared to provide evidence and reasoning to support your position, the board may not adopt your recommended action. You should have received from the agency a letter explaining the protest process and a copy of the protest information form. If you do not have these documents, please contact the agency's legal department at the end of the hearing. You're also required to complete and submit the protest information form PIP 7 days before the date of the hearing. These documents need to be submitted to ABCA and to the opposing parties in this matter. If we do not receive a copy of your protest information form, your case may be dismissed because you did not provide appropriate notice of the evidence and arguments you intend to present at the hearing. In deciding this case, the board will decide your case based on the testimony, evidence, and materials accepted as evidence during the hearing. This means that anything you want considered should not only be submitted with the protest information form, but also formally entered into evidence during the proceedings. This further means that the board will ignore any outside comments provided by non-parties in deciding this matter unless the persons are called as witnesses or a party enters those documents into evidence during the hearing. The parties are further advised that you are limited to case presentations and cross-examinations of no more than 1.5 hours and 5 witnesses. If additional time or witnesses are required, please file a motion explaining why additional time or witnesses are needed. Finally, please be advised that this hearing will be conducted virtually. Therefore, it is important that you ensure your technology is working, you're familiar with how to use it, you have a reliable internet connection, and you and your witnesses are in a location suitable to participate in a formal hearing for a number of hours. We thank you for your cooperation. Please remember that the parties are still able to submit a settlement agreement to avoid the hearing. The PIP was provided to, you're saying you're standing for the representative. However, if neither you or the representative have a copy of it, you can reach out to our legal department, which is ABCA. Our legal department, I think it's you can just reach out to the same department. You received.
I see it in the chat.
Today. Yes.
I actually did not receive notice of this meeting from ABCA. Our ANC chair did, even though I'm the representative. I think today, finally, ABCA has put me on as the representative, but there's been 3 different emails that have not gone to me from ABCA that were supposed to go to me. And I have not received it.
Let me ask you a question, sir. When you guys protest the proceeding, because we always send in the protest letter, did it say who the contact was? Did it say?
Yes, it said it was me, and I have not received any contact from ABCA. So I'm sorry, this is regarding the other cases I'm here for. I'm here for 3 cases. And those have been going to our chair instead of me.
Well, because we sent it to the chair. So because you're not here representing ANC 2B05, you're here representing ANC 2B because this protest was filed by ANC 2B. And so all of our, I know for factually that all of our notices are sent to the ANC chair. And I thought that within the protest letter, if it says that whoever the representative would represent the ANC, but I know for sure that we always formally communicate to the ANC chair because, as stated, this is the protest was filed by ANC 2B and not
Correct.
ANC 2B05. But you can, what I'll say is that if the chair provided you the contact information, you can use that information and contact the agency to ensure that you're copied moving forward on all of the emails.
It took 3 times for me doing that to get copied. So we've been doing that consistently.
All right, but but if I will make sure that I'll send an email to make sure that Mr. Marshall, that at least for this action, so you're going to appear today on the back? Is this are you the representative for this case?
Just for today.
For today, or so so you're saying you're here today for other cases also?
Correct. Which I did not
And-
get contacted from ABCA about.
But you are the representative but let me ask you, in the protest letter to
I'm named in the protest letter as a representative.
as the representative, well, then that probably was an oversight, but I know for sure our agency always submits letters to the ANC chair because the protest is being filed by the ANC as a whole and not the single member district. So if you had told me that the ANC chair did not receive contact, then that would be problematic. But as long as the ANC chair receives it, I will make sure that the agency pays more close attention to ensure that both the chair and the representative receive notices moving forward. Okay, sir?
Thank you. I appreciate that. And
All right.
and you mentioned the PIP. I've never received a PIP for any of the cases. And I don't
The
think our
chair
chair
should
has
have-
either.
So why don't you just reach out you have an email for the office, for legal office? You can email our office and we will provide you the information, okay?
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, then that closes this case. Thank you, sir. All right, let me see. All right. The next case is case number 25 PRO 00103. Mr. Oriana, can you please elevate the ANC in this case, please?
Is this for Flash?
Yes, it's for Flash.
I do not see the ANC listed in the attendee waiting area.
All right, is there anyone here from, you just put up, this is ANC 1B.
One sec.
All right, well, Mr. Mixon, can you please spell and state your name for the
One
record?
second. There's a Matt Fay.
Okay.
Matt Fay, elevated. Thank you, Chair.
Yep, thank you. I appreciate that.
Hold on, please. Mr. Mixon, can you please spell and state your name for the record?
Cameron Mixon, CAMERON MIXON, counsel for the applicant.
Mr. Fay?
Matt Fay, MATT, F as in Frank, AY, representative of Commission 1B.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Mr. Mixon, are there any preliminary matters that should be brought attention to the board?
None at this time.
Mr. Fay?
Just an update to the board. We had a very productive meeting with the owner of the establishment, the applicant, on Monday of this week. We were delayed as a result of the holidays. We have identified what we think is the common issues. We have aligned on what we think is a solution, a path forward to a settlement agreement. And so we will continue to work on that. The protest hearing in this matter is scheduled for February 4th.
Yes.
And the next of the ANC commission meetings is scheduled for February 5th. So I am hopeful that in the next 2 weeks, we will be notifying ABCA Legal that we have reached a settlement agreement, that we will be asking for a continuance so that we can formally approve a settlement agreement at our February 5th commission meeting.
Well, thank you for that representation, Mr. Fay. This is a renewal, and so the parties can jointly ask the board to extend to continue the matter from February 4th to another date. So because it's a renewal, the board will favorably consider any requests from the parties to extend the timeline. So as stated before, this matter, if it's not settled, this matter is scheduled for a protest hearing on February 4th at 1:30 p.m. As you stated, the next scheduled ANC meeting is February 5th. If the parties believe that this matter will be settled and it needs to be approved at the meeting, then as soon as possible, you can jointly ask the board to extend the time. And what I will do is that if the parties genuinely believe that this matter will be settled, inform the agency to postpone the hearing so we do not have to assign an investigator to do a formal investigation of this case, okay?
We will, and I think our goal, the applicant is out of town traveling for the next week. We anticipate that we'll have something resolved in the next 2 weeks, and we will let the board know so that you do not have to assign an investigator prior to the scheduled protest.
Thank you, sir. All right, then. Have a great day, both of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Same to you.
Oh, Mr. Mixer, you decided you just want to spend the day with us today. Is that what's going on, sir?
Happy to be here. It's been too long.
All right. The next case on our calendar is case number 25 PRO 00090 Onyx, license number 130390. Mr. Oriana, can you please elevate the licensee I'm sorry, not the licensee, the protestant in this case?
Sure thing. Alex Marshall, access elevated. That is our turn.
Let me see. Let me see. Are there any groups protesting this matter? Because I'm looking here, it says that.
Yes, yeah, Kevin R. DeBelli, access elevated.
Is there a group of 5 or more? I mean, I guess there's a group of 5 or more. It says, I think they have the Ferren Rosenwuzilic group.
I'm sorry.
Yes, Mr. Marshall, what were you saying?
Oh, is this Skybox? I thought someone said Heist. I could be mistaken.
No, this is Onyx, ONYX.
Okay.
So,
Correct.
all right, so could the parties please appear on camera, please? All right, I see a name from a blast from the past on the screen, so I would like that individual to I have not seen him in a minute, so maybe can come on screen while. All right, so Mr. Mixon, can you please identify yourself for the record, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Cameron Mixon, CAMERONMIXON, counsel for the applicant. And if it's all right now, I can in a minute if it's better then, but I believe we have a preliminary issue.
All right, good. Okay, well, let me have the parties identify themselves. Mr. Marshall?
Alex Marshall, ANC 2B05, ALEXMARSHALL.
Now, is this Mr. Ardabelli? Can you please spell and state your name and your representation, sir?
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. It's Kevin Ardabili, Kevin, last name ARD like David, EB like boy, ILI, for the group of 5. along with Mike Silverstein.
All right, and the reason I see Mr. Silverstein's name on the on the screen. Mr. Silverstein, can you identify yourself for the record? And the reason why I've said publicly, I've been the chairman of this board for, this is my 11th year, and for I believe for the first 5 years, I believe, or a significant portion of while I was chair, Mike Silverstein was a member of this board, so that's how I'm familiar with Mr. Silverstein, because he was an ABC board member during my tenure. So Mr. Silverstein, can you please spell and state your name for the record? I can't hear you, sir. And this is the first.
Please check your audio source. If you click the down caret next to mute, you should see speaker and microphone options.
I still can't hear you, Mr. Silverstein. Yes, Mr. Silverstein, go ahead.
Mike Silverstein, Mikesilverstein. I'm here in place of Olivia Rosenzweig. There have been some events, blessed events, that have happened since the past 2 weeks. She gave birth to a baby girl, and today is apparently the 2-week checkup at the doctor. All goes well there, so we can move on to less important things.
So is this the same group as Mr. Ardabelli, or is it a different group?
This is the same group.
Okay, all right, thanks. Okay. All right, welcome, Mr. Silverstein, good to see you. As I stated before, Mr. Silverstein was a member of this board during the period. He was a member of this board since I became chair. So that's how I became familiar with Mr. Silverstein. I just want to put it on the record that I am familiar with Mr. Silverstein and how I became familiar with him. Yes, Mr. Mixon, any preliminary matters you need to bring to the attention of the board?
Apologies, actually not at this time. I was mistaken.
I'm sorry, what did you say, sir?
I was mistaken. I had seen a notice that did not include the group of 5, but I see now they did file a protest letter.
Okay, well, my note said there was a group, that's why I asked the question. So, but as far as the licensee is concerned, both groups were granted standing at the roll call hearing.
That is correct.
All right, that's fine. Do you have any other preliminary matters you need to bring to the attention of the board?
No, there's.
Mr. Ardabelli, any preliminary matters? I'm sorry, let me go. First, Mr. Marshall, I apologize. You, Mr. Marshall?
No, not this time.
Mr. Ardabelli, any preliminary matters you want to bring to the attention of the board?
Yeah, at the mediation, we presented a few issues to negotiate, but applicant wasn't willing to negotiate on it, so we're going to the.
All right, well, let me as a preliminary matter, I just want to let the parties know that if a settlement agreement is reached between the licensee and the ANC, then the group of 5 or more falls by operation of law, just as an FYI. The board cannot force the licensee to negotiate or for the group of 5 or more to be a part of a settlement agreement. And so I just want to let you know that, because I've had the occasions where a settlement agreement is reached between the licensee and the ANC, and the group of 5 or more is not an agreement, or they did not sign on, and then they want to continue the protest hearing. And I just want to let you know that by operation of law, there is really nothing the board can do if a group of 5 or more is not a part of a settlement agreement between the licensee and the ANC. With that said,
Mr. Chair.
Who's speaking? Yes, Mr. Marshall.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. We've been working together with the party of 5 to reach a settlement agreement. I think Mr. Ardabelli's statement that the applicant hasn't been interested in negotiating it is accurate for the ANC as well.
No, I'm just, no, I'm not, I was just saying just procedurally, I was just putting the group of five or more on notice because there are many occasions that settlement agreements have been reached between the ANC and the applicant and the licensee, and the group of five or more is not a part of, they disagree with the settlement. And so they want to move forward. And so I was just saying, just as a matter of course, that if a settlement agreement is reached, then the group of five or more, if they're not a part of it, they can't move forward with a hearing. So I was just as a point of order, just to put them on notice. That's how the process is. So I do that to try to make sure that I don't have questions later on to say, okay, I don't agree with it. We still want to move forward with the hearing because I don't know what the ANC was doing. You know, just that type of. That's why I just put it out there. So I don't know what the licensee's position is, whether or not they're speaking to both parties. I was just putting the group of five or more on notice what the state of the law is. Okay.
Understood.
So this matter then is scheduled for a protest hearing on October. I'm sorry. What is the year just started and I'm already in October.
Happy New Year.
October 4th, 2026 at 1:30 p.m. I know that I just reviewed the protest hearing process to you, Mr. Marshall. Mr. Artabelli, are you familiar with the process? Did you hear what was read earlier on the record this morning?
I heard, thank you. So just as a clarification, it's 90 minutes maximum for the witnesses, you were saying, for each side?
You have for the entire, all right. So in this particular case, because there are two protestants, the two protestants have to decide. The only difference with this case is that the two protestants have to decide who's going to represent the protestants at the hearing. So therefore, you and the ANC, if this matter goes forward, you and the ANC have to determine who's going to represent the protest. And also in this particular case, because there's more than one protestant, if you require additional time and additional witnesses, you can file a motion with the board to say that because there are more than one protestant, we require to have X amount of witnesses and this amount of time. You can file that motion with the board, and the board will review the motion and grant or deny the motion. If you file a motion, please provide a copy of it to Mr. Mixon for his comments. And because the board is not going to make a ruling on the motion until we have gotten you have provided the applicant a reasonable period of time to respond. Okay. But currently you have an hour and a half. Let me read this because yeah, 90 minutes to present your case. Hold on, it's big. I know that I was reading instructions, and when I looked at the information that actually went to the parties, it was different from what I was reading. But my instruction says an hour and a half and 5 witnesses, so that's what really counts. But if that's enough time and if the 5 witnesses is fine, that is fine. But if you require more, file a motion to the board asking. But I just also want to remind you, if this matter goes to a hearing, both the protestants and the ANC, they have to jointly decide who's going to represent the parties at the hearing, because we're not going to have two cases. So we're not going to have the protestants case. We're not going to have the ANC case, and we're not going to have a group of 5 or more case. We're having one case with one representative. Okay. Any questions?
Thank you.
All right. So does everyone understand the process? Any questions? You look
Yeah.
like you have a question, Mr. Ask all the questions you wish to ask, because I don't want to go to a protest hearing and you say you didn't understand or I didn't tell you. So this is an opportunity. Whatever questions you have, please ask.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, this is more like on behalf of the ANC. Like in terms of additional comments that the ANC may have, they would just email it to the ABCA legal and the applicant. Like
What do you mean? What do you mean comments? I mean comments.
25-609. the ANC comments, like if they want to submit like a recommendation or anything?
Well, as I read in the instructions, any comments that are submitted, it has to be moved in evidence. So it has to be moved in evidence at the hearing that we have the hearing. So if the ANC wants to write comments, then when you do your PIP, those comments need to be presented in your PIP, and someone needs to put it on the record. So if the ANC was just to send in some comments right now, and if those comments are not moved into evidence at the hearing, then it's not a part of the it's not going to be a part of the record. Okay. Hold on a minute, please. Hold on. I just did something. Hold on, please. I don't know what I did. Hold on 1 minute. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So if whatever comments, if they're not a part of your PIP, and if a motion is not raised at the hearing to move it into evidence, those comments will not be part of the official record. So the board will not consider comments that are not a part a part of the official record at the hearing. Okay.
Thank you.
May I ask,
Yes, Mr. Marshall.
if the commission and the party of five are in agreement, I know only one body gets to, I don't know, argue, be party in the protest. Can we do it in a joint manner in some way where it's designated?
Yes.
Yeah, you can do it in a joint manner. So therefore, you're presenting your case. So for example, if you want to do the opening, Mr. Marshall and Mr. Arbedelli wants to question the witnesses. So you can break it up that way. But it's only going to be one person who's going to ask questions to a witness. But you could designate who's going to do what to what witness, who's going to do the opening, who's going to do the closing, who's going to ask questions. So you can designate how you're going to present your case. I'm just not going to have two people cross-examine the same witness.
Great.
Any other questions? As I said, I prefer questions that are being asked at this stage than folks to say, when we have the hearing, to say, I didn't understand because you didn't explain to me that I needed to do this. Okay, so I don't have a problem the parties asking as many questions as possible here. Okay? If there are no other questions, I will see you guys then on February 4th at 1:30 p.m. All right? Have a great day. Thank you. All right. The next case on our calendar is case number 25 PRO 00096 Heath, license number 105012. And I guess the party's already here. So Mr. Mixon, is there anyone else that we need to elevate for this case, or is it just the ANC and the ANC? The ANC is the only protestant, Mr. Mixon?
Correct. That's my understanding.
All right. Mr. Mixon, can you please identify yourself for the record, please?
Cameron Mixon, CAMERON accounts for the applicant.
Good morning, sir. Mr. Marshall, please identify yourself for the record, please.
Hi, Alex Marshall, ALEXMARSHALL.
Good morning, sir. Mr. Mixon, any preliminary matters you need to bring to the attention of the board?
No, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Marshall?
No, we're working right now on scheduling a mediation hearing, and I think we've settled on a date preliminarily.
All right. This matter goes to a hearing, it's scheduled for a protest hearing on February 4th at 1:30, and I see that both of you, Mr. Marshall and Mr. Mixon, have another protest hearing at on February 4th at 1:30, so something has to give. However, anyway, this matter is scheduled for protest hearing. If this matter is not settled, it's scheduled for a protest hearing on February 4th at 1:30. Okay?
Would it be possible to delay that since we haven't had our mediation yet? I expect we're on a delayed timeline given that the mediation hasn't occurred.
This is it's a renewal. So the parties can jointly file a motion to ask us to continue the case, or you can do that, you can do that yourself, Mr. Marshall. As I stated before, because this is a renewal, the board will not have a problem continuing this case to another date. Okay?
Great, thank you.
Thank you. All right, so have a great day. All right. The next case on our calendar is case number 25 PRO 00102. And I see the parties are gone, Ms. Oriana, but it appears that these are the same parties for Disset Ethiopian Restaurant, license number 98818. Or is that?
Apologies.
All right.
I don't see them on my list, but I'll let them.
All right, those are the same parties for this case.
Disset Araya, access elevated. Paula Edwards, access elevated. And I don't see Alex. You said Alex
No, he's
Marshall?
not. No, it's not. This is ANC.
Okay.
I think there's an error in the calendar because it said ANC 2B, but I see that the witnesses are ANC 4A. So the calendar has the wrong ANC listed.
Okay.
All right, so let me have Mr. Mixon, Ms. Edwards. Could all the parties please come on camera, please?
My camera does not seem to be working.
All right, that's fine. Mr. Mixon.
Mr. Chair, this is not one of our matters.
Oh, that's not your, all right, I apologize then. All right, who is, let me see.
Mr. Araya from Desta, I believe, is on.
All right, Mr. Arai, are you able to come on camera, sir?
Yeah.
Well, turn the camera, all right. All right, so you're the, can you spell and state your name for the record and who do you represent, sir?
Okay. DESTA. Desta. My last name is Araya, Araya.
And what's your relationship to this establishment, sir?
I am the owner.
All right, good morning. Miss Edwards, can you please identify yourself for the record?
Yes, I am Paula Edwards, chair of ANC 4A, PAULA EDWARDS.
Good morning, ma'am. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Mr. Araya, are there any preliminary matters? Is there anything you need to bring to the attention of the board?
I didn't hear you, sir.
No, I'm saying, do you have any problems or issues you want to bring to the attention of the board regarding, not substantive, regarding this protest hearing?
No.
Ms. Edwards, is there any matters that you need to bring to the matter, any preliminary matters you need to bring to the attention of the board?
Only that our ANC voted to accept the changes requested to the settlement agreement last night. And we have to get the signature of the Rittenhouse Condominium Association on that because it's a three-party agreement basically between the ANC, the Rittenhouse Condominium Association, and the applicant. So we have to get their signature on it. Once we get their signature, we will submit the settlement agreement.
But I'm just as an FYI,
Sure.
as far as the information that I have here, it's only the ANC. The ANC is the only protestant in this case.
We are. They did not. The condominium association did not protest. It's a complicated situation because the applicant needs the settlement agreement in order to make the changes that it needs. So,
And was the condominium association were they a part of the Is there, I guess, is there a current settlement agreement?
There is a current settlement agreement from 2016 to
And
which
is the condominium association a part of that settlement agreement?
it is.
But they never protest this matter.
No, they did not. But we can't revise the settlement agreement until they sign off. So we, it's been a very complicated situation.
So I'm gonna ask our legal office to
Sure.
contact you because this case was protested. This case was protested by the ANC. It was not protested by the condominium association.
Yes.
And if we were to go to a protest hearing, and if the ANC is in favor of the changes, we can't move forward with a hearing with someone who's not a party to the hearing. So I will have the legal office reach out to you guys to see if there is an assistance, because I'm confused in this procedurally. Procedurally, I'm confused because, as you were saying to me, that the ANC, you protested it, you're in favor of it. So I'll have our legal office reach out to the parties to see if we can provide some guidance moving forward.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, I will do that.
Because
Yes,
my
yes,
question is, we can't submit the settlement agreement to ABCA, as far as I know, without the approval of the other party.
I will, as I said before, I'm gonna contact our legal office.
Okay.
And I'll have the legal office reach out to you guys procedurally how to move forward in this case.
Okay.
Because, as I said, this is a protest hearing, and what you're saying, the party who was not signed off on a settlement agreement is not a party to this protest hearing.
Right, but we can't submit the settlement agreement. We can't settle unless we have their consent. So is the protest still dated? I forget, February?
The protest hearing is scheduled for February 4th.
4th, okay.
For February 4th at 1:30, but they are not a party to this case. So that's why I need to I need our legal office to provide you with some guidance, because I don't see how we can have a protest with someone who's not a party to this case, because you have agreed to what you have agreed with this licensee to whatever agreement it is.
Well, we can't finally agree until that's the dilemma. So if we could get some legal guidance, I think we can work it out. I will
talk to our legal office to reach out.
Thank you very much. And I would like to keep the protest hearing still scheduled, but I'm hoping we can. Yeah.
No, what I'm saying, there's really nothing I can do.
Great.
I'm sharing with you that this matter is scheduled for a protest hearing on February 4th at 1:30.
Great.
But based on the representation that you're making, I see some procedural issues here that I believe that our legal office needs to work with the parties to help them through these procedural issues.
I do appreciate that.
All right. So I will make sure that our legal office get in contact with you, with the parties to figure a way to move forward.
That would be wonderful.
Because I stated before, this is a protest hearing, and you're saying that the reason why you can't submit a settlement agreement, it is because a non-party refused to. Let me not say refused. A non-party has not signed off on the settlement agreement. Okay.
Yes, and we're hoping they will.
All right. So we'll anyway. But this matter then is scheduled for a protest hearing on February 4th at 1:30. But I'll have our agency, our legal office, reach out to you to work this matter through. Okay.
That would be very much appreciated. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. So this matter is then scheduled for. And let me ask you a question, Mr. All right, and I'll leave it alone. This matter is scheduled for protest hearing on February 4th at 1:30 p.m. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Good day.
Mhm.
Let me, the next case in our calendar is, there's a qualifications here, and this is for ECCS, trade name to be determined, medical cannabis, retailer, review of ownership structure. This hearing has been canceled during the filing of a withdrawal request. The board will issue an order on that matter. The next case in our calendar is case number 25 CMP 00071 space DC license number 124237. This hearing is canceled due to the dismissal of the case by the government. The next case in our calendar is case number 25 00018 flash license number 90823. This hearing has been canceled due to submission of an offer in compromise for the board's review and approval. And let me move to our afternoon calendar. There was a protest here in case number 25 PRO 00099 bunker, license number 122706. This hearing has been rescheduled to February 4th at 1:30 p.m. Now, the final case on our calendar, it's a fact-finding hearing. It's Play DC Restaurant and Lounge. And this is fact-finding regarding temporary license and new license application. So good morning again, Mr. Oriana. Can you please elevate the parties in this case?
Sure thing. Good morning. Harry Rothstein, access elevated. Alexander Padro, access elevated. Commissioner Nicole Shea, access elevated. And I believe that is all, Chairman.
All right, no, thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Hold on
Sorry.
1 minute, please. Hold on.
I also elevated Carol Moman.
Let me start off with the potential licensee. Who's that?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Harry Rothstein, and I am counsel for Legacy Inc., which is the current operator of the premises formerly known as Play DC.
Spell your name for the record, sir, please.
Sorry, Harry, Harry, Rothstein, Rothstein.
Is the licensee here?
The licensee is with me, yes.
So can he come online and identify himself for the record, please?
We had discussed that I would appear on his behalf.
Mr. Rothstein, I need your client to show up and identify himself for the record, sir. Yes, you
Absolutely.
are his attorney. You're going to speak for him, but I need the client to identify himself for the record.
Yes, sir. Okay, we'll have him identify himself. One moment.
Okay. Hello.
Please spell and state your name for the record, sir.
Okay. My first name Nebiyu, Nebiyu. My last name Haile, Haile.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
All right, Mr. Rothstein, you are his representative. You can speak for him, but I'm not familiar with you. I'm not familiar with him. And so therefore it is in these proceedings, I want the parties to be on record to identify themselves for the record so we'll know who it is that we are speaking to. Okay, sir?
That is completely understood, Mr. Chair.
All right.
And duly noted. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let me have the ANC.
Hi, I think you may be referring to me, Nicole Shea, ANC for 2G03. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Spell your name for the record. We have a court report. That's what I always tell everyone to spell the name because we have a
Okay, perfect. It's Nicole, Nicole, Shea, Shea, like the butter.
And you're from ANC 2G.
Yes, ANC 2G03, and Alex Padro, ANC 2G02, I believe is also on.
All right, Mr. Padro, can you please, you're not on, I see your name, but you're not on camera, so can you please spell and state your name, sir?
Yes, according to the platform, the video is active, so I don't know why you can't see me, but I am Alexander M. Padro, Alexander, middle initial M as in Michael, Padro, Padro. I am Commissioner for Single Member District 2G02. I'm also Executive Director of Show Main Streets. Thank you.
Good morning. And I see, I'm not sure if this is your name, but it says Carol Money. I don't know if that's the name of the person, but whoever that individual is, please spell and state your name and identify yourself for the record, please.
Yes, can you hear me, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
I'm Ibrahim Mukman, and I'm using my wife's computer. That's why you see Carol.
Spell
She has
your
a better
name,
computer.
sir.
It's I-B like in boy, Rahim, and the last name is Mumin, Mumin.
And where you represent, sir? Who you represent?
I'm a resident. I live about a half block from Play, DC.
All right. Is there anyone else that needs to be elevated for this matter? All the parties are here. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. All right, good morning, Mr. Austin. This is normally not, this is not what we normally do, because this is a temporary, so this is a fact. All right, let me just provide some background. Legacy DC, Play DC Restaurant Lounge applied for a CT license on December 16th, 2025. The board is also aware that the ownership may be hosting events while its application is pending under the auspices of a temporary license. The board is further aware that there have been events have generated numerous community complaints and concerns regarding activities at this location. The board has convened the fact-finding hearing to get information from the applicant regarding its prior activities, future plans, proposed application. The board will also hear comments from the public. The board also knows that this is a fact-finding hearing and no formal action will be taken by the board. Nevertheless, information gathered today may be considered by the board in reviewing future applications. All right, so as I stated, Mr. Rothstein, it's a fact-finding hearing. The parties are not under oath. The parties are not sworn. The board cannot legally, at fact-finding hearing, order any party to take any specific action. We're just gathering information. Typically, when temporary license applications are filed, there is no fact-finding hearing unless there is information for us to try to investigate. The community is also not involved routinely when temporary license applications are applied for and granted. So I just want to put the community on notice that it is not routine for the board to receive community input on a temporary license application. These are just routine applications. These are temporary licenses that are applied. And if the applicant has provided the board with the legally required documentation, the board will instruct the agency to move forward in issuing the license if the criteria for a temporary license has been granted and provided. So I just want to put the community on notice, just the process about moving forward, that the board does not routinely have the community involved in requests for temporary licenses. When a permanent license has been requested, of course, the community is involved because there's a protest process where the community can, if it so desires, once we have provided notice through placarding, then the community can decide to protest or not protest, or they can engage with the applicant regarding their license application. All right. Let me see. All right, so any questions before? So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask your client, Mr. Austin, some questions. You can answer if you're able to answer on his behalf, or he can answer, but I have some questions that the board would like to be answered. And once I've asked those questions, then I will ask questions of the community, and the community can provide whatever input they so desire. But I just want to let, as I said before, the board is not going to use this hearing to accept or deny any future. We're not going to make a decision like with this hearing to say, okay, fine, we're not going to grant any further temporary license, or we're not going to approve or disapprove an application for a new license, because as I said before, there's a fact finding here. We're just trying to gather information, and because the community, the board and the agency has received significant a number of communications regarding from the community, we decided to have a fact finding here just to gather some more information from the applicant and also from the community. Okay. All right. So, Mr. Watson, on behalf of your client, maybe you can just give us a proper. Tell us who your client is. What is it that they're trying to do?
Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Well, my client is Legacy Inc., who is the new subtenant of the space that was formerly occupied by the Play DC Restaurant and Lounge, which was a nightclub with a checkered history, to say the least. And it's certainly understandable why the community would have their concerns with a new operator in this space, especially given the circumstances of those temporary events on December 24th, 26th, and 27th. That was not intended to be, a the beginning of the new operation, which is planned at the location. Legacy Inc. plans to completely discontinue the use of the Play DC trade name at this time, and they are working towards opening a sports bar and grill at that location, and would be requesting some late night licenses from ABCA on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. I was actually the attorney involved with the eviction of the original subtenant. After a conflict check, I ended up also representing the new subtenant in an odd twist of things. So I am well acquainted with the history of Play DC and the concerns of the community, which I've discussed it with my client. He takes it very, very seriously, and he wants to, you know, understanding that we might have gotten off to a bad start with the community, to say the least, given the circumstances and the use of that Play DC trade name. We want to just use this as an opportunity to engage and address some of the community's legitimate concerns about any entity operating in that space, given its history.
So, who is the new owner of this? What? Okay, so what is the name of this new? I don't have the application in front of me, or any of the previous temporary applications, or the I don't have a copy of the new licensing application. So what's the name of this establishment?
Well, Mr. Chairman, the name of the establishment on the temporary licenses, it was in the corporate name, so Legacy Inc., and then it was trading as, which is a registered trading name of Legacy Inc. at this point in Washington, D.C., Play DC. And to give a little context as to the choice of that name in those temporary events which occurred in December, there were promoters and other individuals involved who no longer have a relationship with the owner of Legacy Inc., who were kind of trying to organize events, and including the one on New Year's, which, following the cease and desist order issued by the LCP, Legacy Inc. withdrew, canceled the event on New Year's, and has currently, and as of now, suspended any future operations until we have all the proper licensing and permitting, especially with the LCP, but also with ABCA, to run a legitimate entity. We want to get started and comply with any stipulations that ABCA or DLCP might have regarding the space.
Well, I mean, I can't tell DLCP what to do,
Of
or
course.
what it is that what your client decide to do with DLCP. So I'll stay in my lane as far as APCA is concerned, but how is it that this new owner is using the same trade name as the previous entity? I mean, how can you use the same name? So because, but let me back up. So this entity that applied for the temporary and this entity that applied for, all right, so the entity that applied for the temporary is I guess, what's the name of the entity that applied for the temporary licenses?
That would be Legacy Incorporated, Mr. Chair.
All right, and is this the same entity that applied on December 15th or 16th for a permanent license?
I believe so.
All right, so who are the parties behind? Who owns this entity?
So the beneficial owner and my client, you know, I think sole owner is Nebu Haile. He's a businessman who has an extensive history of operating sports bars, and he has operated some nightclubs successfully and without any kind of safety issues for the past 20 years. He is the proprietor of Champion Sports Bar, which has been operating for the last decade approximately, and that's located at 3825H South George Mason Drive in Falls Church, Virginia. I would welcome the board to do their research on his other entities to see that these are professionally run operations and there are really no issues when it comes to security or safety incidents related to those establishments. He was also the proprietor of the Chrome Cafe, which was also located in Falls Church. That was a substantial sports bar and lounge that unfortunately had to close following the COVID-19 pandemic. And then he has also spent time, over the past 20 years, managing and being in charge of operations for another lounge in the United Arab Emirates and in Ethiopia, which is his home country originally. But again, he has extensive experience in operating these entities. I think there was an issue prior to our representation regarding getting my client adequate knowledge as to the process and procedure of securing a ABCA license in DC and in general with the LCP. I know that's a separate issue that really doesn't have any bearing on what the board is seeking today. I think that would explain, combined with the fact that there were some influences from promoters and other individuals who I think had their own motives. Some of them we've since found out were affiliated with the former Play DC, and that also was a factor in my client's decision to cease further operations until we could reorganize and make sure that we engage with the community and do things the proper way.
All right. So your client, Mr. I'm sorry, what's your client's name again?
His last name is Mr. Haile.
Mr. Haile. And so you're saying Mr. Haile is the 100% owner of the entity, is that correct?
Yes, I believe that should also reflect on the beneficial ownership records with DLCP, which is publicly available. Mr. Chair. If I am mistaken as to percent, I believe he's the only listed beneficial owner. Yeah,
All right.
of Play DC. Sorry, not
So,
Play DC. Play DC is a trade name that was also registered by Legacy Inc. I just wanted to clarify and correct myself. I'm referring to Legacy Inc. With respect to Mr. Haile.
so does Mr. Haile, does he currently have a business license to operate a business in DC?
Well, Mr. Chair, the issue, and this is largely, I think what DLCP's concern is that no basic business license had been secured prior to the events hosted in
No,
late December.
I'm not talking about. I'm just saying. So
At the moment,
at the moment,
Mr. Chair, we do. My client does not have a basic business license yet. We are actually going to submit our application following a health inspection, which will occur at the premises at the end of this week.
right. And is there a certificate of occupancy?
There is a certificate of occupancy, Mr. Chair.
And you're saying he's a subtenant, so sublessee, so he does have a lease with the landlord for this space?
Yes, he does.
And what's it just current? I mean, how many years is this lease for?
I think it's approximately. I think the initial term, and again, this is to the best of my knowledge, I believe, is a 10-year
All right.
lease.
And so you're saying because it's a lease, so has the landlord approved his lease, approve the premises to have temporary events until I guess a permanent license is issued?
To my knowledge, there is at a minimum no objection from the landlord, and they are informed of the developments that have been occurring regarding the sub tenant, and there's a strong line of communication and a good relationship between all the parties involved, which was quite a departure from the previous subtenant in the property.
And based on the terms of the current lease, is the landlord aware of the use of the premises?
Yeah, the use of the premises as a sports bar and lounge, which is the intended use again of Legacy Inc. and Mr. Haile in that property. So this is not going to be just a nightclub. It is going to be, hopefully, if everything goes well, a sports bar and lounge, and there will be certain nights, again, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or depending on certain sports events, we'll apply for extended hours licenses as needed. But safety is an absolute priority of my client. And so before we, finalize our applications before ABCA for those permits and licenses, which the landlord is aware of, we do want to engage with the community and certainly the Metropolitan Police Department, who we've been in contact with, to develop a comprehensive security protocol. And if that includes metal detectors, if that includes, strict documentation, ID checks that scan into a database, my client's willing to do whatever it takes to address the concerns of the community, which he completely understands. We're not invalidating the very strong feelings, certainly, that the community has felt regarding this, and I think the unexpected, the shock of being Play DC, at least using that trade name, certainly was regrettable, and it's a reasonable reaction from the community, given again the history of the Play DC nightclub that had previously operated at the premises.
All right. Do your client have any relationship, affiliation, or arrangements with the previous owners of Play DC Restaurant and Lounge LLC?
No, Mr. Chairman, he does not have. I can confirm he has no relation to or connection with the previous owners. The only tenuous connection, again, was we had identified a certain promoter that was trying to, promote the New Year's event that had been canceled. And that was brought to our attention actually on the 31st of December that they had some affiliation with Play DC. And so upon realization of that connection, my client completely terminated his relationship with that promoter and with all promoters. My client does not intend to be using promoters for his sports bar and lounge. In the future, he's not going to be host promoter sponsored events at the premises. It's going to be a fundamentally different operation. And I understand, they had some private events at the space. I think that was, the initial Christmas event that has been cited, in the media. I've been told by my client there were approximately 50 to 60 people there, mostly friends and family. They're trying to, just at least get a little bit of use for the space as they, plan and build out their new entity at the location. This was not intended to be a prelude to a continued operation, and these were truly temporary events. I do not think they were. Again, I was not involved with the application process for those temporary licenses, but it does not seem that they were issued inappropriately by ABCA. I don't have any concerns. I think that those ABCA issued those temporary licenses properly, and the reason why, again, the event on New Year's did not go forward was because it won my client's concerns with the promoters involved, but also because DLCP had issued a cease and desist at the 11th hour, which my client certainly complied with. And I think that will kind of set the course for their continued compliance with both ABCA and DLCP.
All right. So tell me about you talked about your client's business model that he currently owns a sports bar in Virginia. And so, so tell me about the staffing of this establishment. Is it the people who were there before? Does he intend to bring in his own crew? Tell me a little bit, about the staff how does he plan to staff this establishment?
Well, at least when it comes to management, he will be bringing people, rotating them. Obviously, it's hard to find staff in food service and that industry, especially in today's climate. But my client is working to at least figure out a sustainable rotation to bring in experienced management to train newer management at the future unnamed sports bar that will not be named Play DC.
So I guess moving forward, I know that there are some temporary license applications currently. What is it that your client intend to do moving forward? I mean, do they plan to continue applying for temporary licenses, catering licenses, or are they going to wait to see if the board approves a new license before they do any further operation?
Mr. Chairman, yes, my client is going to wait, to first make sure they have their basic business license, but also wait to apply for their full alcohol license and hopefully resolve and address again the concerns of the community so we can make it as smooth of a process as possible for all parties involved, including ABCA. So at this time, my client voluntarily suspended, any intention to apply for temporary permits or continue operations until certainly we have the proper licensing in place.
The community has expressed great concerns about the establishments under the previous owners, and they have also had some recorded incidents of violent crimes associated with the establishment. How do you intend to operate and manage this business differently? How does your client intend to operate and manage this business differently?
Well, Mr. Chairman, so from what I've heard from various sources, and maybe the community would like to opine on this. One of the major issues related to Play DC was not only the ownership of it, of the entity, which was questionable, but also some of the musical talent that they had chosen to perform there. You know, the a few that I'm just thinking of the performers at the former Play DC had known gang affiliations, and were involved with other criminal activity. Unfortunately, the reality of the situation is that at times when there are individuals involved with gang activity, there's violence in one place, and this happens unfortunately almost every week in DC. There is some kind of retaliation, and so I think it was bringing in a heightened risk to the community by bringing some of those performers in without doing proper security vetting on the part of the previous owners. Obviously, it serves no one's interest to have violence occur on or off the premises, right? It gives a bad reputation to the business, even for the former owners. I'm sure it didn't serve their interest to have any issues there. It's just, certainly I wouldn't even say they had intentionally manage the club in a way that would have attracted this violence. But I think there were some other issues and oversights that my client's aware of and wants to address. Again, this isn't going to be a venue that has a consistent stream of live entertainment performers. It's the primary entertainment focus would be recorded live telecast sports events being broadcast. So whether that's Premier League soccer or NFL football, local, national, they're getting the Sunday ticket, the works. They'll have all the channels, but again, it's going to be a very different form of entertainment at the centerpiece of this new proposed establishment. And again, it does not reflect even the temporary operations of the nightclub in the past, whether that's like the friends and family events in late December or the canceled. So I wouldn't even say that was a previous operation, but the canceled New Year's event that was largely coordinated and organized by promoters, which again, my client has no intention to work with any promoters moving forward and has repeatedly expressed that they want a fundamentally different type of business. My client's been very consistent with his intent to open a sports bar in the location, and he believes that it would be a positive influence for the community, unlike the previous tenant.
You mentioned earlier that your client currently has, what's the name of the establishment?
So there is Champion Sports Bar, or just Champion, and that's operated for the past decade. And again, that is in Falls Church, Virginia. And then there was also a former club that closed, not a club, sorry, a sports bar lounge, Chrome Cafe in Falls Church, Virginia, right? That closed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I asked my client to confirm earlier, there has never been according to him, a homicide or any type of murder associated with his establishments in his 20-year history of working in the food and entertainment industry. They've never had an issue, not even close to the issues that Play DC was experiencing. And so I think that is worth emphasizing as well, that he does have a stellar track record. Again, a lot of these things are public information. I would welcome the community to, to look at his other successful businesses, to look at their stellar safety record, and use that as a proxy for what this, again, planned and unnamed sports bar will look like for the community with respect to safety.
Well, let me ask you, so how did, why did your client, this is a location with a checkered history. It's violence. The community is had vehemently opposed the establishment or entity at this location. So why is it that your client believes that this is a viable location for him based on the checkered history of the previous occupant, the opposition that the community pose to the establishment? So why is it that your client believes that, okay, well, let me bring in a sports bar or let me bring a business into this space that has had such a checkered history?
Well, my client is a big admirer of the Shaw community. He believes that it is a great place to live and to do business, and that Play DC was not representative of what that community's needs were. In fact, it served to detract, unfortunately, from all the good things associated with Shaw. And he felt that by changing the nature of the business, it would, he was aware of the safety issues before with Play DC, right? It's been publicized widely in the news. It's a notorious name, a notorious club. That this was an opportunity to come in and, it's a great space that is furnished, right? Because they were the previous operators were evicted. So it's kind of a business that is, relatively easier to complete a build out on, right? If it's even a conversion, which they're doing from a nightclub to a sports bar, right? That requires some logistical and some design changes, but those are relatively minor to just entering an unfinished space. So my client had seen the opportunity to use the previous, subtenants build out and capitalize on the fact that he could, begin operations with respect to construction much sooner, but also addressing the issues of safety and violence surrounding the previous operator by changing the nature of the operation itself from a nightclub to a sports bar, and also by vetting any kind of entertainment that comes through. Again, the entertainment is very different. You have live performers versus, television sets.
All right. This is the only ask that the board, and the board can only ask. The board cannot. He can say no. And I don't know, but if the board was to consider granting a full license, would your client object to filing a security plan with the application?
My client would not object at all, and we actually had discussed it before. That was, his intent, actually, to develop that comprehensive security plan and submit that for ABCA's review along with the application itself. And we would be, giving a copy of the security plan for the community to review as well, to alleviate their concerns. And but certainly the priority is to make sure that ABCA has all the documentation it needs, and then additional documentation given the security issues surrounding the previous operator at the premises.
If there is nothing else that this board will hold your client accountable to from this hearing, because as stated, it's a fact-finding hearing, we can't order you to do anything, but the only requirement then, because based on the agreement, is that you have agreed to file a security plan with your application. Okay?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Absolutely. We would voluntarily agree to a consent order in order to do so if that is something that the board would like, whether today or at a later time.
Well, as I said, the board, at fact finding hearings, we can only ask. You can say yes or no. But if you say yes, then you have agreed to file a security plan with your application. Okay? All right.
I can confirm that we have agreed. My
All
client
right.
has agreed to do so.
All right. Any questions by any board members? Go ahead, Miss Quinn.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Um, I just want to make sure that I'm following you. Are you suggesting that your your client who's a seasoned business owner was aware of the history of this business, of the prior tenant?
He was aware.
And so with that awareness, you're telling me that the seasoned business owner thought that it was a good idea from a safety perspective to operate using the same trade name that carried that history?
No, I think that the idea to use the Play DC trade name did not come from my client, to clarify. I wanted to emphasize this. The only references to Play DC, the trade name, in any kind of public advertisement was done by promoters without authorization of my client. He does not want to be associated with the Play DC trade name. It was registered. I believe that was a communication oversight with the person responsible for filing the initial documents. I think they were just a little confused as to the location. Obviously, it's something that should have been looked into, but things were moving very quickly, and my client does have other concerns. When this was all brought to his attention on the 31st of December, he promptly ended again the relationship with the promoters who were using the Play DC trade name in their graphics. Again, he will be surrendering, the use of that Play DC trade name. Really has no intention to ever use it again. He wants to start with a fresh brand and, a clean slate for the community. Because again, it is a clean slate effectively when you look at the fact that there is no connection between the operators.
Are you also suggesting that there was no reference to the name Play DC in the temporary license requests?
Yeah, that was again, that was more of a communication issue that is regrettable and unfortunate. I know my client, he is the owner, he's ultimately responsible, but again, they on recommendation from someone, he's not conducted business in DC before. He used like in Washington DC, sorry. He used a friend's recommendation to have these things filed. And so these were kind of done very quickly. And again, even the most seasoned operators make errors. Yeah, I think this is, in reality, it's an error that hasn't really had any profound consequences, but besides the unfortunate alarm that it caused in the community. But it does not reflect his business strategy or intent with respect to the new operation. But I understand your concern completely. I would. It's certainly reasonable to have those questions given his experience. But again, I think when you look at the time frame when the lease was only signed a few weeks ago. This is something that was kind of done very quickly and hastily. We've slowed down. He's retained us as counsel to review and make sure that we do everything properly. So again, I think, yes, he has a tremendous amount of experience in operating these businesses. I think that's the relevant portion for the safety and security of the community, for the relationship with the neighborhood, the issues regarding technicalities in terms of licensing and those miscommunications. I think that can be attributed to the fact that he did not have experience in DC before. He was relying on a recommendation from a business colleague, but now has retained counsel. So we'll do everything hopefully properly because our license depends on it. So I hope that addresses your concern. I don't disagree with you at all. I would have that question as well.
So is it his practice with his other businesses not to review licensing applications or advertisements concerning the business?
That is not his custom nor practice. I think that given the the kind of last minute nature of him being able to secure this sublease and kind of an excitement around the holiday season with his other businesses as well, he was kind of pulled in all directions, and it was I'm not going to beat around the bush. It was an unfortunate oversight, but it won't be repeated again. And he's somebody who has directed us to make sure that everything is reviewed not only by himself but by his legal counsel moving forward. So I think you're going to see a much different level of attention to detail paid to the application submissions going forward.
Okay. And then lastly, with regard to the other local businesses that he owns, I heard you indicate that there have been no murders there or other kinds of, I guess,
Well,
violent
murder,
deaths.
homicide, yeah, I would say
So no homicide, which I want to just
homicide.
start off
That
by
is a
saying
great
that's a
baseline.
very, very low bar. Are you suggesting that there has been no violence at these other establishments?
There has been no violence outside of, when you have any drinking establishment, regardless of, how well they're managed, how great their security plan is. Security can prevent the worst from happening, but it cannot prevent, people who have had a little bit to drink from getting into a tussle, getting kicked out of a bar. It's about addressing those issues as they occur quickly, and responding appropriately to any kind of concern that the patron's intoxicated, they need to be ejected. Obviously, Play DC was at a different level, and I think I'm sorry if it sounded a little facetious to reference the fact that there had been no murders or homicides, because I agree. In reality, that is an extremely low bar, or it's a bare minimum you should expect from any entity that you grant a license to. But the reason why I said it, and at least it resonated, is because the nature of the violence that was surrounding Play DC was unusual, right? Even for a bar or a nightclub. There are many nightclubs in DC. There is some degree of vibe. If you'll go out to even the best managed nightclub, there's always going to be a little tussle, a little confrontation. It doesn't mean people end up dead, right? It's a huge difference. So no, I can't represent you guys. I would be dishonest to say that there's never been an incident, right, revolving any type of violence, right? But no more than what you would see at any other licensed liquor establishment in the Shaw area or anywhere else for that matter. Of course, my client, and I think the community board knows that it's just a reality of any business that serves alcohol. You'll unfortunately have some issues, but it's about how you address them, about how you prepare for security concerns, and obviously making sure that no weapons are present in the establishment, and cooperating closely with the Metropolitan Police. I think we'll make it a reality where the biggest risk of violence is someone intoxicated trying to gain entry to the club and gets into a tussle with the bouncers.
So have we, in terms of the other local businesses your client owns, have there been any prior incidents involving shootings, stabbings, or weapons?
No, there have not. And that honestly, that would have, you put it much more eloquently than me. And that's also another message I was trying to get across, that again, while we're not saying there's never been any kind of incident associated with a bar that would I think that would destroy our credibility with you. There have been no, armed incidents that have occurred with his other at his other establishments in the 20 years that he has been in the industry.
I think that's it from me, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Meadows. Any other questions by the other board members? Go ahead, Mr. Meadows.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Rothstein. Thank you for your time today. I'm finding all this quite interesting. You mentioned that Legacy Inc. When was that formed, incorporated?
I cannot be certain of the exact date, but Legacy Inc. was formed in October, November, December, in December of 2025. It's a new
Okay,
entity.
and so then after that was formed, he filled out the application on December 9th for a full license. He uses the trade name Play DC, yet you're trying to inform us that Play DC previous ownership has no relationship to Mr. Howley. If I say that incorrect,
Yes. No. That's I think that's accurate. It's but if I may, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but
sure.
Again, the trade name was not used by my client in any direct capacity. Again, there is still signage, right, on the premises of Play DC. And upon discussion with my client, it appears that when they had the individual responsible for submitting those initial business
But
filings had
sir, when I read on this alcohol license application of December 9th, it says Legacy Inc. is the proprietor and the trade name is Play DC Restaurant and Lounge.
it does say that. You're absolutely right. And again, I think that is more of a issue regarding the paperwork. And I know
Yes,
I
I agree
understand the
with that.
position. It looks bad, but if you see the establishment today,
It
which is
looks as it
closed,
is.
it looks as is.
It was applied for. And what you were saying is that, it was bad paperwork that he made these misclassifications as you would, but you're also saying that he is a well-established 20-year individual. So which is it? Is it a little bit of
Well, he
both?
is a well-established, but well-established people also delegate things, unfortunately, at times to the wrong people. And
Okay.
I don't think this should reflect on Mr. Hiley's competency. Given the
To me, it
circumstances.
reflects on its merits as presented.
Of course.
You mentioned that you mentioned the heightened risk of the alleged gang activity with the previous owner. That's concerning. You also mentioned that he is the subtenant and he signed a 10-year lease with the tenant. Who is the tenant of the building?
The tenant of the building, there are two individuals, and again, these are the individuals who evicted the previous tenants. It would be Maruz Al-Kambeshi and Saleh Salim.
Soleil Salim. And he is he the proprietor, the owner of the Champions and Falls Church, or is he the operator?
Is Mr. Hiley?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the owner. You own. I can confirm he is the owner and not simply the operator.
And it's great that there haven't been any stabbings or any offenses of that nature. Has that establishment been fined by the Virginia government for any operation issues?
Not to my knowledge, and based on my conversation with my client beforehand, not to his either. But again, I will certainly review that. And if anything comes up, even if it's a minor violation, we'll be fully transparent with ABCA. If that helps you guys in any way, I don't know if it bears on the new entity or if it's something that would even be asked for. But again, we are willing to cooperate where needed and explain. I don't think there are actually any issues with none with the Virginia ABC, none. Okay.
And at this DC location, are you planning to have this basically a hookah bar? Are you going to serve hookah?
Well, I mean, if I think that depends on how the licenses that my client's able to get. I mean, I don't think that I think that hookah is a very popular um, social activity that's enjoyed by people. It's not only found in nightclubs, and I think that for many in the Middle Eastern and East African community, hookah is a great form of social bonding that resonates with people who don't want to drink. So I don't see
Yeah,
there being any issue with hookah being served there. Of course, that is given what the Department of Buildings wants to allow. But yeah, my client would
certainly.
like to be able to serve hookah if that is permitted.
I have nothing against that service. I just find it interesting that it's being labeled as a sports bar, which usually those activities don't take place at a sports bar. You have maybe a darts table, a pool table, those types of activities, but not entertainment and DJ license as your applicant has applied for.
Again, I
So
would separate that from hookah. I mean, if you go to places like the United Arab Emirates where there are sport, again, not many bars, but when there are sports lounges, there's usually some form of hookah or shisha, which is the tobacco product itself, served at the premises. So again, I think that this is uh, a new type of sports bar as well, the one that appeals to people from various cultural backgrounds, right? It's bridging the gap between the Buffalo Wild Wings in America,
sure,
right? And a more
sliders.
traditional, he wants to have a fusion of like Lebanese, Middle Eastern food with American options as well. So it's really actually a very cool concept for this business. I think the community will be excited as well, and I think that it is something that you would only find in America, frankly, because again, we are a country with so many diverse cultures which add to the fabric.
I understand.
And
I certainly
so,
do. Um, you mentioned earlier, and I quote, influences from promoters. Can you explain that a little bit further? How did the promoter promote those New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve events without Mr. Halley's approval?
well, so these individuals had approached Mr. Halley and said, "Oh, we'll take care of making sure that obviously with any new business, a big concern is drawing in customers, right, for any kind of event, right?" And I
Mhm.
think again, this was not a test to see like we're going to continue to operate like this. It was more of trying to, make ends meet while, the build out was occurring. Right. So it's a different nature compared to the actual operations of the premises. Um, Again, if we could go back in time, I'm sure my client would have done, certainly would have done things differently with respect to those, again, the private events, the end of December, and even the planned event on December 31st. I mean that it's cost him time, money, and resources as well. It's been a loss, right? Ultimately, and it has put him in a more difficult position. But he's rallying around and making sure that we can do things properly, and we're willing to do what it takes.
Well, thank you for that. And my final question is, with his other establishments, does he have any documented instances of working with the community in Virginia, of any good things that he's done for that community?
I mean, I will let him answer this question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Hi, Mr. Holly.
Hi, how are you?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I was just
Sure.
saying, if you have any instances of things, have you made donations, the champions, to community groups? Have you done anything to benefit that community in Falls Church?
To be honest with you, yes. Some of the donation, every year, I just donate for the police department, Alexandria, because I have another business in there too. Always they give me the sticker. I put the sticker on my car, and then something like that. Whenever they come, and then when they ask, I am willingly to help. Always. That's my intention too for the new community too.
Okay, thank
Any
you very
cleaning
much.
service, anything, whatever they need, I'm with them. I'm part of the community. That's what I believe, and then that's what I try to approach them before I don't own anything.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mr. Chairman. That concludes my questioning.
Yes, Mr. Meadows. Any other questions by any other board members? All right. As I said before, normally the community is not involved in these matters. But I'm gonna give the community a couple of minutes to ask some questions of the owner through the attorney. I just want to let the parties know, although this is the last hearing for the day, the board has been working since 9:30, and I normally take a break every 2 hours. So I'm not gonna elongate this hearing much longer. But I'll give the community a couple of some opportunities if they want to express. They can if the community want to, we'll start with the ANC if you want to put anything on the record, and I'll give an opportunity to ask some brief questions of the owner through his attorney. So go ahead, Ms. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I thank everybody on the board for the time today. This has been really helpful to hear. I do want to share at the start that I have had a couple of conversations with Mr. Haile since this all came to light. And I do believe that they were productive conversations that left me feeling much better about a potential path forward and his establishment, not Play DC, having a presence in the community. So I am thankful for that. One thing that I would like to ask that Mr. Haile and ABCA both consider is that if the permanent license was submitted without all of the ducks in a row, for example, if it needed a business license and didn't have it, that existing permanent application be voided, and that we start fresh with everything in compliance as it needs to be. I think that will restore faith for the community in the process being fully transparent and open. And one other question I have, the two leaseholders, so not the sub-leaseholder, which is Mr. Haile, but the actual leaseholders, could you say their names again and spell them into the record, please?
Yeah. Sorry, it is. I actually can't spell their names right now, but it is Marous Al-Kambeshi and Saleh Salim. If you go, actually, I mean, their names are actually in the public record. I would refer. Yeah,
Mr. Rothstein, can you just spell them for the court reporter, because we have a court reporter so you can spell the name for the
well,
court
I can pull up. Let me see. I was actually looking at before this hearing in preparation not their names, but I think they should be on here. Yes, some old case filings for the case again that I had worked on to represent the sub landlords in evicting Play DC. So Mr. Al-Kambeshi's his first name is Marous, Mahrus. His last name is Al, and then the second word is Khan. BASHI. And then the other sub-landlord is Salim. That is SALEH, first name. Salim is his second name, SALIM. And it's Salah. Sorry. I was just, I misspoke before, but it's Salah Salim.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, I'm going to pull up my notes. I do want to be brief. And I don't know, is it possible for ABCA and Mr. Rothstein to answer my question of if the application that's currently there can be kind of voided so we start again with all the sort of proper ducks in a row? Is that something that we can discuss now?
Commissioner Shea, let me explain something to you, how the way the process is. He doesn't have to necessarily have I'm not quite sure what is required when you file the application. However, before the agency issues the license, he has to have a basic business license. He needs to have a certificate of occupancy. So we're not going to require him when I'm unsure if when he submits his application, if he has to give us a certificate of occupancy or a basic business license. However, before the agency actually issues the license, so we can approve it, but until he provides the agency with a certificate of occupancy or all the other licenses, the license will never be issued. So,
okay.
right. So you can provide, because for example, you have businesses that are still in the build out. So we will approve a license for they're in the build out because they have not gotten a certificate of occupancy as yet. However, the license will not be issued until they have given it to us. And if they don't give us, if they never provide us a certificate of occupancy, we will never issue the license.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. So I also would like to share, these are my own personal comments and also echo what I've heard from many in the community regarding the vulnerabilities and issues with the temporary licensing process. I think that the temporary licensing process is something that is necessary for the city. And there are certainly very many valid use cases, something like a wedding or special event. But I think that this was a misuse of the temporary license process. And then I think the temporary license process is flawed in a way that is a threat to the community and that needs to be looked into. And I also wonder.
Hold on. Let me correct the record. That's incorrect. What a temporary license can be used for. You have establishments, restaurants, nightclubs. They can apply for a temporary license to operate. And if you review our calendar every week, you will see that lots of establishments have applied for temporary licenses for them to operate until they get their permanent license. So it is routine. So just
That's
this
deeply problematic.
establishment, yeah, but I'm just saying this establishment, I just want to correct the record. They did not improperly utilize the license. The license can be used to operate as a regular license. Okay. So I just want to correct the record for that. Okay.
Okay, well, I would like to provide for the record that it is my understanding that there is no public or community notification requirement with this, and that is a dangerous loophole for the community. I think this is a perfect storm that demonstrates why this process is deeply flawed and why I think it needs to be reviewed and corrective measures need to be taken with a quickness. This was a very bad thing that happened in Shaw. This was a nightclub that finally had its license revoked by ABCA. The name of the nightclub established with the address where the nightclub was on one of the applications. And somehow still it was issued. So whether or not it follows the processes and it followed the processes and procedures that were laid out by ABCA. This has revealed a flaw with that process, and this is something that needs to be fixed. This is scary. And to learn that other nightclubs are able to use this same process to operate without the same kind of public notice that the permanent licenses afford the community is really concerning. And I think at this point, maybe I have a lot more to say, but I think that's like my biggest thing. And I know we've all been here for a long time. So I'll close there. I'd like to give my neighbors an opportunity to also weigh in. And I do want to thank the board for getting this onto the agenda. And I just want to thank all of the people in DC that worked on making sure that play was not open over the New Year holiday, that it did not open. And I would like to thank Mr. Rothstein and his client for that too, because that I do believe that our neighborhood was safer as a result. This is very serious for Shaw. This isn't just we don't like noise. This is a very serious safety issue for our community. Thank you.
That's why I don't like putting myself on mute. Thank you, Commissioner Shea. Mr. Padro, you can go ahead and then I'll have you, sir, go last.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. This month, I've entered my 24th year of service to the Shaw community and the city as an advisory neighborhood commissioner. And in those 24 years, Play DC was the most egregious example of a license of a business that should never have been allowed to open. The ANC and the community never supported the licensure of Play DC. We supported the licensing of an all-day breakfast restaurant. That was what the application was for. And ultimately, that license was granted, never operated under the original plans. It instead was sold to the operators of a nightclub. So the community and the ANC never had an opportunity to weigh in on whether or not a nightclub was appropriate on this part of the neighborhood, which it has not been. In those 24 years, I have never had the commissions that I've served on, which were previously 2C and 6E and now 2G, issue and support a single N-class license, because nightclubs do not fit into the business type and the nature of the community that we serve. We have made sure that all of the nightclub activity is up on the 1900 block of 9th Street and ANC 1B, because that is where the community has sought to have that activity focused. That having been said, it is indeed, as Mr. Rothstein has indicated, very regrettable that we ended up with a situation where the community was shocked and awed by the announcements through social media that Play DC was back. That is how those two sets of events were being promoted. So it was with obvious fear for public safety and fear for the well-being of the attendees of those events that that the ANC and the community pushed back against this, and we're again grateful for all of the district government agencies that made sure that at least the New Year's portion did not move forward. I have subsequently met with Mr. Haile. And I am, satisfied at this point that he's being honest in his intention to operate a sports bar and not a nightclub. The ANC has not seen the actual application. So I'm actually surprised to hear some elements of the application that were alluded to by the applicant's counsel related to late night, related to DJs. I believe that my colleagues and I on ANC2G will be very resistant to anything that has any relationship to nightclub activity. if it's going to be a sports bar, it needs to be a sports bar. It needs to not have the ability to morph into a nightclub. This is, going back to the same problem that we had with the previous license that was issued. It was issued for one purpose and ended up being used for another. So, trust but verify. We're going to be doing our due diligence. We'll be reaching out to the appropriate authorities in Virginia to make sure that the statements that have been made related to the experiences with Champion Sports Bar and Chrome are accurate. But we are grateful again for the process that allows for the community to actually have a voice as to what it will be happening in that space that has such a checkered history. And the ANC and the community look forward to engaging with the applicant to make sure that what we put into a settlement agreement and what is ultimately approved by the board actually reflects the community's needs, the community's desires, and the need to make sure that the business operates safely, operates professionally, and that is not a danger to the public. And I'm happy to answer any questions that any members of the board may have.
I just think this, giving the committee an opportunity I know that the committee is very vocal, and just giving the committee an opportunity to express on the record what their opinion regarding the future of this application. And as you're aware, Mr. Padro, the community doesn't get an opportunity they're not aware until if we decide to placard this matter. So therefore, if they apply for a license, once the certain criteria are met, then the agency will placard it. And at that period, that is when you get all the information, and then you are aware, and then the community they'll have their input in the process moving forward with the issuance or non-issuance of a license for this location. Mr. Mummin, am I?
Yes, actually, I pronounce it Mookman, but I'll answer to anything close.
All right, sir. You get a couple of minutes to express your views, sir.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. And like my colleagues, I appreciate the opportunity for us to come before it. Let me just say, by way of background, I'm a 51-year resident of the Shaw community, and I've lived in this house about a half block from Play DC, or whatever it's called, for 43 years. And I've been involved professionally in the neighborhood. I was a consultant on the building of the Walter Washington Convention Center, the Marriott Marquis Hotel, City Market at O Street, and City Center, DC, as well as the MCI Arena. So both professionally and personally, I've been involved with the neighborhood. I was also very much involved in the 80s, because when I first moved here, Shaw was losing population. Both blacks and whites were leaving because of open air drug markets. So that's my background. And I should say, one of the things that when my Nicole Shea came to me and told me about what was going on, I didn't believe it. One of the things I did not mention is that for about 6 years, I served on the Historic Preservation Review Board. And one of the requirements that we had is that when an application came before us, we would not consider it if the staff could not certify that the appropriate ANC had been served and notified. And so I was curious as to how this could take place without Nicole Shea and Alex Padro, my commissioners, knowing about it. But I understand this is a different kind of rule. But I think you guys have seen how that process can be used. And Nicole Shea told me that in some of I'm a older guy, I'm 78 years old. I don't be involved, I'm not involved in social media, but she said on social media, there was something saying like, we're back. When the we're back, what does that mean? Because they had not been there before. And so initially to the owners, it looked like you had a situation where you were running with the hare and hunting with the hounds. You, on the one hand, you're not Play DC, but on the other hand, you were sort of taking advantage of that. And I just questioned the judgment of the owners in the leadership group. The other thing I was curious about is that when you were questioning the owners, they're a subtenant. Who's the tenant and who's the owner? I don't know. I don't have the right to ask questions today, but I'd be curious to know who the owner of the building is. It was a 1541 or whatever it is, and who is the tenant? And because if he's the subtenant, that's kind of confusing. It needs to be clarified. But I just wanted to let you know that somebody who lived on the block, for more than 40 years. Since Play DC came, we had cars broken into, and it's a very bad feeling to walk out in the morning and see your windshield broken, with the cars. And we didn't have that before then. When I moved to this block, and I'm a half a block away, uh, in 1983, 4 doors from me was the headquarters for drug sales in Shaw. But even at the height of the open air drug market and the sales, we didn't have people breaking windows in on our cars. The drug boys didn't do that, and so it's very important to me that we go forward. And someone told me that there was supposed to be a security plan for Play DC, but they didn't honor it. And so, if there's a security plan, people need to honor it, because I was told that they were not able to they were unable to hire police officers to do that. Well, I don't care if they can hire police officers, but they can certainly do like what Metro does. They have people on the trains who are not Metropolitan Police, but they provide security. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
All right. All right. Thank you for the community to express its interests and views. I guess before bringing this, I'm going to have you, Mr. Austin, have the final say. Do any board members that they wish to ask any questions of any of the community members? You don't have to. I'm just giving.
I mean, I
don't want to
I
make
just
you.
wanted to thank you guys for taking the time out of your busy schedule
Mr.
to
Russell,
hold
hold on.
me.
Mr.
Sorry.
Russell, hold on, please. I'm asking the board members if they have,
Oh, so the board members, I misheard. I'm sorry.
yeah, you're gonna get an opportunity, sir. I just want to make sure that the board members don't have any questions of the community before I give you the final say.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All
Just,
right.
well,
Go ahead.
I think he
Go
took the
ahead,
words.
Ms. Quinn.
I think he took my words, because my thought was, I'm so appreciative of the community showing up for this. This is an unusual step, as the chair mentioned, and I appreciate you taking advantage of this and helping to enlighten us. And also, I'm appreciative of your willingness to continue conversations with this owner. I was impressed to hear that you all didn't, because sometimes things go wrong from the beginning and folks go into their corners and aren't willing to have meaningful conversation. So I'm glad to hear that is moving forward in what appears to be a positive way. So it was enlightening to hear from you today, and I appreciate you all participating.
Mr. Rothstein, you'll have the final say, sir.
Well, again, I just wanted to thank the board and yourself, Mr. Chair, for allowing us the opportunity to kind of hopefully shed some light as to the situation surrounding Play DC. Again, we are thankful for the work of ABCA and our and of the community, the ANC itself. I think that a general theme of today is we just you know it's about form selection, right? Like, knowing where change can be effectuated, and whether that's with us referring to the DLCT stuff for VAPCA, we have to remind ourselves that we are here just for fact finding on the issue of the temporary licenses. If certainly there may be issues with the process. I mean, that might be a matter for the city council to decide if they want to. But again, I don't think it should reflect on my client in particular. I agree there's been an unfortunate, bad start, that I am very appreciative that the community has reached out, like the board member previously said, and engaged with us to hopefully get to a resolution that benefits everyone. But I'm going to stop talking because I want you guys to be able to go and get on with your days. So thank you again. I really appreciate it from each and every one of you, whether you're an ANC member or the member of the board.
Thank you for your presentation, Mr. Rothstein. I'll say that, I mean, the board will take this matter under advisement. I will advise the community that, I mean, typically, when it comes to the issuance of temporary licenses, as long as the licensee has provided us, there are certain requirements that are required to be presented to the agency and the board for the issuance of temporary licenses. As long as those are met, the board is more likely to issue temporary licenses. The board, however, if we receive, as in this case, community feedback or significant community complaints regarding a location or an establishment on their activities in the issuance of previous licenses, the board does take that in consideration in moving to see whether or not we're going to issue another temporary license for that location. So that is something that the board does take in consideration when we issue temporary licenses. If we receive, say, for example, they've had an event and we've had the community have complained to say that they have the nature of their operation is not what it's supposed to be. If that same entity applies for another license, we will use that to say whether or not we are going to issue a license. But typically, though, when it comes to the issues of caterers, these temporary licenses, like we issue festival licenses, there are one-day substantial change. So you've had it, you will have it unless there's a settlement agreement that prohibits this. Say around New Year's Eve, that you have a lot of establishments, they apply to operate 24 hours, or they can the extended hours period. I mean, we approve those licenses, they can apply, and the community doesn't participate in these type of issuance. The board, though, probably if they have a history in the sense that they're not complied with the law, the board will take that information in consideration, whether or not we're going to whether or not we're going to continue issuing temporary licenses. But I just want the record to reflect, though, that it's my understanding, in speaking to the head of the head of licensing and the director, that the proper licenses, the proper documentation were provided to the board and the agency for the issuance of the temporary licenses. And the activities that this licensee, this applicant, had with the issuance of the temporary license, it was legally compliant. Okay, it was not. They did not abuse the licenses. I just want to put that on record. That I know there's some. I think the board needs to, or the agency needs to clarify on its website what it is a temporary license can be used for. It is a misnomer in the sense that it is just for what is being, I think what Commissioner Shea, the information that you quoted is incorrect. And I know you probably got that from our website. I'm not sure where you got the information. I believe you got the information from our website, but that's not the proper usage of a temporary license. The issuance of a temporary license can be used for the operation that this applicant had used it for. Okay? All right. So anyway, but I said before, the board will just use it in the issuance of, if there are any requests for other temporary licenses for this location, the board will use community input as a guide in whether or not the community feedback that we have received through the numerous correspondence, what we've received today through this fact-finding hearing, and we'll use that to see whether or not we will issue or not issue any future temporary licenses for this location. But it appears that the applicant will no longer apply for temporary licenses. I'm not sure, but I want to let the community know that it's my understanding that there's an active application there. So, Mr. Rothstein, it would behoove your client to reach out to the community, to speak to the community, to explain to the community what his concept is, because once if the agency decides to placard this matter, the community will have its input. And at least if you speak to the community prior to the matter being placarded, then maybe some of the headaches or heartaches will be addressed, and the parties can decide how what route to use moving forward in whether or not the community favors the business plan that he has in mind. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
We certainly plan on doing so.
All right. Thank everyone for their presentation today. Thank you. All right. So
Thank you.
thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, then. So let me do our agenda items before I close the record for the day. So the first agenda item that I'm going to do today, it's the legal agenda medical cannabis. On the legal agenda medical cannabis, there are 4 items. I'm going to review the 4 items, make some recommendations to the board, and then I'll make a motion that the ABC board approve the recommendations as put forth by the chair. Number 1 is a letter from Abigail L. Ryman, R-E-I-M-A-N, regarding District Wellness Center. The license number is 127954. This is an FYI to the board. Number 2, review of ANC 6A's motion for reconsideration of dismissal. This is for Proper Exotica. This is in case number 25 PRO 00080, license number 128697. This matter will be continued. Number 3, review of opposition to motion above, which is in Proper Exotica, license number 25 PRO 00080, license number 128697. This will also be continued. Number 4, review of notice of final rulemaking on pending registration cards. I make a motion that this matter be approved. I therefore make a motion that ABC board members vote to approve the recommendation as put forth by the chair for the legal agenda medical cannabis. Is there a second?
Mr. Grant, I second the motion.
Mr. Grant has seconded the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Number 2, I'm sorry. The next agenda item is the legal agenda medical cannabis addendum. On this addendum, there is 1 correspondence and number 1 review letter withdrawing application. This is ECCSLC. It's the medical cannabis cultivation center license. I make a motion that we approve this request to withdraw the application. Is there a second?
Ms. Quinn, I second.
Ms. Quinn, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. The next agenda is our legal agenda alcohol. Therefore, there are 4 matters on this agenda. I'll review all 4. And then at the end, I'll make a motion that ABC Board approves recommendations put forth by the chair. Number one, review of settlement agreement. This is Maxwell, license number 106334. The recommendation is approval. Number two, review of an offer and compromise. This is for case number 25 CMP 00084. License number is 132899, and it's Courts Bar QRTZ Bar. And the offer and compromise is as follows. Charge. Offered entertainment without endorsement, statutory authority, DC Code Section 25-762A, and B8. A warning will be issued in this case, and recommendation is that the board approves the warning, the OIC for warning. Number three, review of public comment from the DuPont Circle Citizens Association. This is for Platinum DC Club, a license number 128784. This is an FYI for the board. And number four, review of Precipe for dismissal. This is in case number 25 CIT 00457, Miramar, license number 115376. Recommendation approval. I therefore make a motion that ABC board members vote to approve the recommendations put forth by the chair for the legal agenda alcohol. Is there a second?
Mr. Meadows, I second.
Mr. Meadows, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. We now move to legal agenda alcohol addendum. The first matter on this agenda is a review of an offer and compromise. This is for Flash. This is case number 25-251-00018, license number 090823. The offer and compromise is as follows. Number one, fail to ensure security cameras were operational. This is DC Code Section 25-836G1. A warning will be issued. And the other terms is respondent shall install a new camera system that fully complies with the requirements of DC Code Section 25-836 and arrange for the Alcohol, Beverage, and Cannabis Administration Enforcement Division to conduct a walkthrough of the establishment to ensure that the camera system complies with those requirements within 30 days of the board's approval of the offer in compromise. If either condition is not met within 30 days, the license shall be suspended indefinitely until both conditions are met. The recommendation will be approval. And number two, review of Precipe for dismissal. This is in case number 25 CMP 00071. This is Space DC Restaurant, Space DC, license number 124237, recommendation approval. I therefore make a motion that the ABC board members vote to approve the recommendations as put forth by the chair for the legal agenda alcohol. Is there a second?
Mr. Jones, I second the motion.
Mr. Jones, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
And Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. All right, so let's now do our licensing agendas, please. All right, so I'm going to do these in no specific order. So the first agenda that I'm going to do is the supplemental alcohol licensing agenda. On this agenda, there are two matters, and I'm going to review both, and then I'll make a motion that ABC board members approve the recommendation. So number one, review application for change for game of skill endorsement to install up to 5 machines offering the approved games district edge by Paysomatic. This is for La Villa Cafe, license number 094826, recommendation approval. Number two, review application for change of hours to sell alcohol beverages for 1 additional hour. This is for Super Saver Grocery and Deli, license number 011247, recommendation of approval. I therefore make a motion that ABC board members vote to approve the recommendations put forth by the chair for the alcohol licensing supplemental agenda. Is there a second?
Mr. Grant, I second the motion.
Mr. Grant has seconded the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. We now move to the board's temporary license and 1-day substantial change docket. On this docket, there are 14 applications. I'm going to read all 14 applications, make some recommendations, and then I'll ask the ABC board members to vote to approve the recommendations as put forth by the chair. Number one, a request from Lana Elzine for 1-day license class F, concert live music performance. This is January 10th. The license number is 134825, 100 attendees, 2 security guards, recommendation approval. Number two, another request from Lana Elzine, a 1-day license class F, concert live music performance, January 12th. License number is 134826, 100 attendees, 2 security guards, recommendation approval. Number three, another request from Lana Elzine, 1-day license class F, concert live music performance, January 15th. The license number is 134827, 100 attendees, 2 security guards, recommendation approval. Number four, another request from Lana Elzine, 1-day license class F, concert live music performance, January 17th. The license number is 134828, 100 attendees, 2 security guards, recommendation approval. Number five, another request from Lana Elzine, 1-day license class F, concert live music performance, January 11th. License number is 134829, 150 attendees, 3 security guards, recommendation approval. Number six, another request from Lana Elzine, 1-day license class F, concert live music performance, January 20th. License number is 134830, 150 attendees, 3 security guards, recommendation approval. Number seven, another request from Lana Elzine, 1-day license class F, concert live music performance, January 22nd. The license number is 134831, 150 attendees, 3 security guards, recommendation approval. Number eight, another request from Lana Elzine, 1-day license class F, concert live music performance, January 31st. License number is 134832, 150 attendees, 3 security guards, recommendation approval. Number nine, a request from Daniel Kramer, 1-day license class G, cocktail party, March 28th. License number is 134882, 300 attendees, 5 security guards, recommendation approval. Number 10, a request from Michael Smith, 1-day license class G, gala, January 9th. License number is 134890, 200 attendees, 4 security guards, recommendation approval. Number 11, a request from Nicholas Schutt, SCHUTT, 1-day license class G, a reception, January 14th. License number is 134897, 130 attendees, 4 security guards, recommendation approval. Number 12, a request from Fish Shop DC, 1-day substantial change. Live entertainment nature, substantial change pending requesting live entertainment. This is January 24th. The license number is 128628. Substantial change license is 25 SC 01367. Recommendation approval. Number 14, a request from Whitlow's for one-day substantial change, soccer viewing substantial change, seeking to change hours of operation for soccer match January 10th, license number 082871, substantial change license is 26SC 00500, recommendation approval. And number 14, Lindy Promotions pub crawl. It's a pub crawl. This is March 14th. The license number is 110455. The substantial change license is 25 PCE 00040. Recommendation 2500. I therefore make a motion that ABC board members vote to approve the recommendations put forth by the chair for the board's temporary license and one-day substantial change document. Is there a second?
Ms. Quinn, I second.
Ms. Quinn, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. Let's now go to the medical cannabis licensing agenda. And on this agenda, there are two matters, and I'll make some recommendations, and then I'll ask the ABC board members to approve the recommendations by the chair for this agenda. The number one, review of request to cancel standard application internet retailer license. This is for M&V Import LLC Herbal Harvest license number 127542. Recommendation approval. Number two, review of standard application for a retail license delivery endorsement to add educational and tasting endorsement. This is for Adegoke, Adegoke. The license number is 133578. Recommendation approval. I therefore make a motion that ABC board members vote to approve the recommendations put forth the chair for the medical cannabis licensing agenda. Is there a second?
Mr. Meadows, I second the motion.
Mr. Meadows, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn.
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows.
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. We are now at the cancellation agenda, and there are 14, I'm sorry, on the cancellation agenda, there are 8 matters, and I'll make some recommendations, and then I'll ask the board to vote to affirm the recommendations put forth by the chair. Number one, this is the City Club of Washington, license number 010973. Recommendation, we cancel the license because the license is out of business. Number two, VIP Lounge, license number 119913. Recommendation, cancel the license because the license is out of business. Number three, Metro Supermarket, license number 097960. Recommendation, cancel license because the license is out of business. Number four, Sangria Bar and Grill, license number 117012. Cancel license because the licensee requested cancellation. Number five, Emma's Torch Limited, license number 126461. Recommendation to cancel license because the licensee requests cancellation. Number six, ABCA, ABEBEECH, Ethiopian Cafe and Market, license number 131396. Cancel license based on because the licensee requests cancellation. Number seven, Trinity Vibes, VYBEZ, license number 124738. The licensee requested cancellation, so cancel the license. Number eight, Flirt Cocktail Bar and Social Club, refer this matter back to licensing. I therefore make a motion that ABC board members vote to approve the recommendations put forth by the chair for the cancellation agenda. Is there a second?
Mr. Grant, I second the motion.
Mr. Grant has seconded the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant,
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn,
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows,
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passes 5-0. We now move to the alcohol license administrative docket. On this docket, there are 5 licensees. And without objection, I make a motion that ABC board members vote to approve the alcohol licensing administrative docket for January 7th, 2026. Is there a second?
Ms. Quinn, I second.
Ms. Quinn has seconded the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant,
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn,
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows,
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones, I agree.
and Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passed 5-0. We now move to our alcohol licensing agenda. On the alcohol licensing agenda, there are 10 licensees. And I'll review all 10 and make some recommendations, and then I'll ask that ABC board members vote to approve the recommendations as put forth by the chair. Number 1, review application for safekeeping of license. This is Brooklyn Pint, license number 093948. Recommendation approval through March 31st, 2026. Number 2, review application for a new CX multi-purpose facility. This is for CTRL license number 134758, recommendation placard. Number 3, review request to add distillery pub permit endorsement. This is for Latina, license number 104754, recommendation placard. And number 4, review application for change of hours to inside premises to open earlier. This is for Blues Alley Jazz, license number 076966, recommendation approval. Number 5, review request to extend summer garden seating to the rooftop above 911 U Street Northwest based on past precedent and the certificate of occupancy. This is MK Lounge U Street, license number 131092, recommendation placard. Number 6, review request to convert approved summer garden with seating for 60 to sidewalk cafe with seating for 60 due to the learning that the approved space is public, not private. This is Moxie's, license number 133329, recommendation approval. Number 7, review request for off-site storage permit endorsement to store unopened alcoholic beverage inventory off-site at 3521 V Street Northeast. This request has been made by Ned's Club, Washington, D.C., license number 129835, recommendation approval. Number 8, review request for an off-premise storage permit endorsement to store unopened alcoholic beverage inventory off-site at 327 S Street Northeast. This request has been made by Whiskey Source, license number 131903, recommendation approval. Number 9, review request to renew the storage permit facility, the storage facility permit, which expires on January 11th, 2026. This is for Made to Measure Cocktails LLC, license number 25SC01349, recommendation approval. Number 10, review request to allow Sinusta de Jour LLC to serve as corporate paymaster for alcoholic beverage purchase from wholesalers and manufacturers for the co-license. This request has been made by the Royal Sinusta Capitol Hill license number. They have a CH license and a caterer's license. The CH license is 123801. The caterer's license is 125219. Recommendation approval. I therefore make a motion that the ABC board members vote to approve recommendations put forward by the chair for the alcohol licensing agenda. Is there a second?
Mr. Meadows, I second.
Mr. Meadows, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant.
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn,
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows,
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. Matter pass. 5-0. The next agenda item is the notice of meeting for the alcohol licensing streetery agenda. On this agenda, there are 36 applications for streeteries. And so without objection, I make a motion that the ABC board members vote to approve the alcohol licensing streetery agenda for January 7th, 2026. Is there a second?
Mr. Jones, I second the motion.
Mr. Jones has seconded the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant,
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn,
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows,
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter passes 8-0. The last agenda item that I believe that we have today, it's the notice of meeting alcohol licensing agenda to remove streetery endorsement. On this agenda, there are 13 licensees. So without objection, I make a motion that the ABC board members vote to remove the streetery endorsement from the 13 licensees that are on the agenda for today. Is there a second?
Mr. Jones, I second the motion.
Mr. Jones and Ms. Quinn, I second the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Grant,
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn,
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
Mr. Meadows,
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Mr. Jones,
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. The matter pass. 5-0. Let's see. All right. So we have concluded all our agendas for the day. And so let me close the record for the day. As chairperson of the Alcohol, Beverage, and Cannabis Board for the District of Columbia, in accordance with Title III, Chapter 405, Office of Open Government, I move that ABC Board hold a closed meeting on January the 8th for the purpose of discussing and hearing reports concerning ongoing or planned investigation of alleged criminal or civil misconduct or violations of law or regulations, and seeking legal advice from our legal counsel on the board's investigative agenda, licensing agenda for January 8th, as published in the DC Register on January 2nd. Is there a second?
Mr. Grant, I second the motion.
Mr. Grant has seconded the motion. I will now take a roll call vote on the motion that has been properly seconded. Mr. Grant,
Mr. Grant, I agree.
Ms. Quinn,
Ms. Quinn, I agree.
the Meadows,
Mr. Meadows, I agree.
Jones,
Mr. Jones, I agree.
Mr. Anderson, I agree. As the matter as the motion has passed, I hereby give notice that the ABC Board will hold this closed meeting pursuant to the Open Meetings Act. Notice will also be posted on the ABC Board Hearing Room Bulletin Board, placed on electronic calendar and active website, and published in DC Register in a timely manner as practical. We're adjourned for the day. I'd like to thank all the board members who participated in this hearings today and all members of the public who participated in our hearings today. Have a happy new year. I now ask all board members to return to executive session for further development. Thank you.
Can we do that in 5 minutes?
Yes, ma'am. So we can, it's 1:16. Well, we'll move over. We'll wait for you to come in. So
Okay.
we'll
Right.
rush. Thank you. All right, bye-bye.